And as always, if you're running into any text issues, send me a text, and I can try my best to handle it. Yeah, while also presenting. We will be going over everything that the seniors are doing to prepare for college prep, college application. So it can be a lot. We break it down for the parents and the students. Really kind of help them understand how much work is really going into this because it can be tough, especially when they see a giant checklist of things. But what Anita does a great job of is really showing them week by week what they should be progressing on, what they should be showing, sharing, working on at the meeting, at home, wherever it may be, so that way they can really just feel not overwhelmed. As you're working with your seniors, if you're seeing any hints of senioritis, please let me know. It happens to everyone, our best and brightest, whichever student we have, no matter how involved or what activities they're doing, at a certain point, they're going to get tired. They're going to get overwhelmed. Send me a text, send me a call. We'll go and talk to them. We'll give them a little break to really walk them through what might be happening, what might be going on. It's just a part of what it is. I want to just for today, we're going to be going over all those items. I want to give a quick shout out to my team, both the administrative team and my immediate team. Dawn Montecalvo, our president and CEO, she does a wonderful job of leading us. Bob and Jim are on the call today. Bob oversees all programming, and Jim is he's our new senior director of college and career readiness. So he's still overseeing after school and high school, but he's also overseeing college and really just helping us all kind of align together. If you ever met the principal of VOE, we stole her. She's now with us with our after school program, and she has hit the ground running, really helping those kindergarten, first, and second graders to really make sure that they have the steps they need to get to grade level, whether it's sight words, whether it's math problems, whatever it is. She's bringing a lot of ideas into the classroom, which is really, really, really great. Kelly Krupp, of course, our VP of Philanthropy, and the work that her team does. Sorry, let me just move this box out of the way. And of course, got to shout out my immediate team, Anita Esmeralda. Anita's the one who's primarily working with your seniors on the day-to-day basis, making sure that they have what they need, that if they have any questions, they have someone who is directly committed to only working with seniors. Esmeralda working with the sophomores and juniors. We did have a little bit of a switch this summer. So Islam is now working solely with our middle school program, and Jim is working with our freshmen on their soft skills development to really kind of help them become young professionals before they hit sophomore year. Abby and Jorge, they do a phenomenal job of telling us what the college students are facing so we can kind of try to add that into our programming while they're in high school. The biggest obstacle, of course, is that culture shock once they hit the campus the very first semester. So you're going to hear us say that a lot to the students throughout the school year this year because we really want them to understand that while right now they're living in Immokalee, which is almost entirely Hispanic or Black, African American, Haitian Creole, once they get to a campus, they're going to understand what it is to be a minority. And of course, Amanda and Monica, who oversee our after school sites on the daily basis at the work at the elementary school to make sure that the students are all engaged and that the little ones have what they need. Something new this year. So you all saw my email about the Mentor Zoom being separate from the Sign Up Genius. The survey that I sent out last spring, kind of the feedback I got from the mentors, they wanted it all, you all wanted to keep the time the same at 1:30, but also just more meeting options for your mentee. So I know sometimes, the long Zoom session doesn't work out for people's schedule. So while there are breakout rooms after each Zoom meeting, there are also additional dates to join your mentee via Zoom if you'd like to talk to them and meet with them, or maybe you just haven't been able to schedule a FaceTime or a Zoom with them, and those are available where the student will be at the high school in a dedicated space where they can talk to you privately. We did cap those all at 10 students because if we have the entire class in the breakout rooms at once and they're all in the lab, everyone was hearing everyone's conversation and it was kind of making it a little difficult to hold those Zoom calls. So we did cap those at 10, but they are all online. And the same link that gets you into this call gets you into any of the other calls for the entire school year. That was a little Zoom lesson I learned this summer, and I took full advantage of it. And that way, you don't have to go searching for different links in different places or what date it was. It's all one link, which I think is pretty awesome. So, biggest piece, the biggest project the seniors have this semester is their senior essay. This senior essay is going to go into their college application, their scholarship applications, their job shadowing request, internship request, whatever it may be. This senior essay is a key piece of pretty much all of it. The Common App, that is the Common Application Portal where a student can fill out one application and apply to 20 different schools, has this as the essay prompt. It is the most common portal used to apply to schools, and most of the schools who don't use Common App actually have the similar prompts that are on what is the Common App. So if a student is answering one of these questions, typically they can use that essay for almost everything for their entire senior year. There are the 7 prompts. I did share those as a PDF with everyone, but I'll just run through them real quick. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is meaningful, and their application will be complete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. A lot of students will go into this one and talk about their family, what their parents have sacrificed to do for them, maybe a sibling who's faced some obstacles. Number 2, the lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental later success. Recount a time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. Students who chose this, we tell them it's a great prompt because if they've ever faced that obstacle, if they've ever failed a class or whatever it might be, it really shows how they can come back up and learn from their mistakes. And college admissions counselors really love to see that. Reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. Reflect on something that someone has done for you that has made you happy or thankful in a surprising way. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization. What I will share, before, describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Some of our students find a lot of these prompts and kind of try to tie them together. It really depends on the student and what story they're trying to tell. And then they're unsure of what prompt to choose for their essay. And that's when they can always go to number 7, share an essay on any topic of your choice. And it can be an essay they've already written that responds to a different prompt or one of their own design. The only problem with that is we don't want students to pull an essay that they did for class randomly and say, this is my senior essay. What we tell the students and what we encourage all of you to tell your students is say, this is the chance for a college admissions counselor to see something in you or a part of you that they wouldn't see in your application, that they wouldn't see in your resume. This is somewhere where you really get to shine and say, hey, when I get home, I help my siblings with their homework, or I work a second job, or I'm helping my grandparents take care of themselves, or I don't have a family and I am really struggling on my own. This is their chance to really say that, to really show like how much they've accomplished. What happened? Okay. Well, the most common issues, I encourage all of you to ask your student for what they have so far, to ask them what they've written, what they've shared, what they've thought about. I encourage all of you to ask your student, what do you have? Can I see it? Can you send it to me via email? Can you text it to me? Whatever it might be, ask them for it. They have a lot of trouble finding their main idea. They ramble, they want to talk about their parents, then they want to talk about their major, then they want to talk about what career they want. They really struggle to focus in on one topic to tie it all together. So that's where them just talking to someone about it really helps them out. Yesterday, Anita, so what Anita does is she has half the seniors meet on Tuesdays and the other half meet on Thursdays. And this way they can actually have more one-on-one attention with each other. And so she actually had them get up and talk to each other about what they were writing and what their essays had. This kind of helped them, hear other people's ideas, what they had. Next week, she's actually going to have examples from last school year from the seniors who wrote their essays then. One of the other big struggles is that they focus too much on their parents. They talk about what they did to come to the US to start working, the work they do in the fields, but they don't talk about themselves. And what we tell the students is this story isn't about them, it's about you. So you need to know, what is it that you're trying to share? Yes, you can talk about your parents, but this should be more about you. I always say that the students spend so much time doing this essay, reading this essay, reviewing it, going over it, they get tired of their own words. So at certain points, your student's going to say, "Oh yeah, I started a new one. I didn't like the other one," or I rewrote this because I didn't like that." It's really just them being tired of their essay because they've gone through it so many times. So what we do at that point is encourage them to take a break, to step away from it. Take a day or two to focus on their other activities or their other clubs or sports or whatever it might be, and then go back to it because they don't want to lose all the progress that they've made. Um, Sometimes they don't realize that the essay that they have is a different prompt than the one they initially selected. And that's okay. We work through it. The very, very last item we focus on is grammar. That's pretty much the last thing we do because grammar is an easy fix. We can rewrite sentences, add punctuation, but what the student really struggles with is finding what they want to talk about and the words that they can share or story that they want to tell. That's why we save grammar for absolute last. If we can hit it early, sure we will, but we're gonna focus on the story first and making sure it flows. Anita and I go through these essays every single day, multiple times throughout the semester. So they will often send it to us. We'll print it out, mark it up, send edits back, and give it back to them, and then they can keep going. It's definitely a long process. I won't lie, and it can be very tiring. And that's why we actually started this with the students back in April. They got the prompts, they got a basic understanding of it. They were told to, think about it over the summer. Out of our 31 seniors, probably 4 of them probably thought about it over the summer just because of everything going on. And, it happens, it's okay. But that's why we also hit the ground running as soon as the school year starts. Any questions before I keep going?
Daniel, could you just walk through the timeline of when they should be, through their main idea, through an outline, through a first draft, final draft, et cetera? What's the timeline look like, please?
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, I actually have one towards the end after I talk about each topic.
Perfect. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure I do. If not, most of it's in my head, so I can share it. Resumes, these were handed out 2 weeks ago to the students. What we do with the students is we send them actually templates that can be filled in. That way they don't have to worry about font, sizing, display, layout, or anything like that. Anita actually does an incredible job of sending about 7 to 15 different templates that really they can just find their favorite and then fill in their information. I'm going to get a few of those and I'm going to send them in my recap email to the mentors with the recording. What the students will struggle with is summarizing what they do in 2 to 3 bullet points. So for example, they'll struggle with putting tutor core in club or in work. And we tell them it's better to put it in work because they probably don't have another job. But then also struggling to put it into 2 to 3 bullet points of what they do at work. Some of them do bus duty, some of them do car dismissal, walkers. Some of them are in the classroom, some of them are in the cafeteria, some are working one-on-one with a student. So really trying to help them find, what is it that they find most impactful about, their job at site, so that way they can put it in their resume.
Daniel, can I have Carol, just quick question related to that. Do they have a job description for their role as tutors, or are there job descriptions or anything that they can draw on for those bullets that might help them with that blank page syndrome?
Yeah, so what we do, we'll send examples of students from last year without the names and of course the contact information. But what we also do is we actually get our staff's resumes. So my own, Jim's, Bob's, we also send those out so that they can see, not everyone's has to be the same. It can be different as long as it has that information in there.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. And so what I was sharing about the Common App, it is one application. They go into one portal online and that's it. What's really great about it is that back in the day, I even remember myself having to complete a bunch of different online portals and applications where I kept having to put in my name, my parents' information, my school, my classes, my grades, and you had to do it in several different portals for each school. Now it's all in one, which is incredible. So that one application gives them access to every single school that they want to apply to. If that school is not in the application, typically it's a very short application. If there's a school that has some kind of benefit that it's better to apply directly to the school versus Common App, we will tell the students. The very first example, and if any of your students say that they are interested in FSU, Florida State University, please tell them to apply to the CARES program. We tell them, but if you guys also tell them, that's another voice telling them that the CARES program offers really good financial aid packages to students from Immokalee who want to go to Florida State. It covers the summer before they start their fall semester, and typically it covers the full cost for fall and spring for their 4 years. What it also does is that when they're in the program, similar to ours, they'll have someone on campus to check in with them, to talk to them, and make sure that they are doing well in classes, that they're getting out there and getting engaged. But really, for all the schools that have that kind of option or program, we do tell the students to apply them to them. But specifically with FSU, they have to apply outside of the Common App, which is why we tell the students all ahead of time. The other big application that is just one for all the schools is the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. We started this with the juniors in, I want to say March. The reason being, the FSA ID is what they use to apply to the FAFSA. The FSA ID is linked to a social security number, so each person can only have one. There are issues that arise, especially with the seniors, because maybe they're going to need an FSA ID for themselves and for one of their parents. If, say, their parent does not have a social security number, then we have to go through the process to get them an FSA ID to prove their identity and to authorize that FSA ID that doesn't have a social security. If a student has an older sibling who went to college and did the FAFSA and had an FSA ID made for themselves or their parent, and then lost it, that happens a lot too. We then walk the student through the process of regaining access to their FSA ID and password. And then we also tell our students that if they have any younger siblings who ever want to go to college, they're going to need the FSA ID for their parents too. So they're going to need to save that regardless of when it is. If their siblings in kindergarten and they're senior now, 12 years down the road, they're going to have to go through that process of needing that FSA ID. The FAFSA has been updated. It is a new application. The best time we got was probably, we submitted the application within 5 to 10 minutes. The worst one is probably a few weeks because then we have to go through the process of claiming FSA ID, finding information, all that stuff. Common FAFSA issues that we see with the students, and if your student mentions any of these, or you think maybe you're unsure of whether or not I, myself, or Anita know about them, please share it with us. If a student's parents' taxes are not done professionally, if they're done at home or if they're done by someone they know and they're not done properly, the taxes will have to be amended and redone, then sent off, then approved, then we can start the FAFSA process. Like I said, some parents may not have socials. We're not asking the students if their parents have socials or not. We're just helping them through the process. And if we find that they don't have one, we'll walk them through the steps. But those identity verifications can take as little as 2 days up to 2 weeks. Claim dependence. So we know that for some of our students, parents might not be around. Maybe they have a situation where, you know, they have more people in the house that aren't actually their siblings, but maybe they're an uncle or an aunt or whatever the scenario might be. The taxes can be kind of funny sometimes. So, you know, we got to make sure that it happens. One common issue that we had 2 years ago was that the FAFSA was supposed to open October 1st. Then it got pushed to December 1st. Then it got pushed to December 31st. Last year, there was a little bit of a delay. It was supposed to be October 1st, and then it got pushed to October 15th. But then that was the last push. We're hoping this year it'll just be October 1st. And that way we can work with the students. If there's any unique scenarios, unique situations, we help the student one-on-one to face that challenge and make sure that they can get it done. If they need to get their taxes redone, there are some partners that help out at Immokalee High School. There's also a program known as VITA where we will connect the student to that organization or program directly, and that way they can get everything amended and corrected. Our goal is for every student to have all their college applications in by November 1st. That means that they'll get the priority for FAFSA and federal aid. For our partnership schools, we're aiming for around October 10th, but most of them will be in by November 1st. This will also give them the opportunity to be selected for the scholarships at those partnership schools. There is a lot on our end that we track for the students to make sure that they have what they need. But if you ever had any questions on any of these, just send me a text, send me an email, and I can send you everything that that student has. I encourage you to ask your student, what they're thinking, what they have, what they got. But as you know, sometimes seniors forget. They forget to email back or text back, and you're really just curious as to what they want to do. We'll track what schools they're going to apply to. We track their GPA as well as their GPA for colleges and universities, as well as the scholarship funds that they get from our program. And if the schools they're applying to offer strong financial aid packages. We have the top 3 majors of each student that they want to major in, as well as the top 3 careers that they have submitted to us from last year. For FAFSA applications, we also track each student to make sure that they're on track to complete it on time, and that if they're having a hiccup, we're making sure that that's being done appropriately as well. Our partnership schools each offer a different kind of scholarship package. I will actually send out the flyer after our call that shares, that information so that you can see, Arcadia University offers 2 full ride packages. Roberts Wesleyan offers 3, but there is a partial loan. I will send that out so that you can see the list of all of our schools that offer a package for our students. We also track Bright Futures eligibility for students. So if you're not familiar with Bright Futures, it offers a either 75% or 100% tuition coverage rate at a university or college in Florida. The big challenge with that is the test scores that are required to be eligible for Bright Futures. Not many of our students end up getting eligible for it, but we try to get as many into it as possible because it's a huge cost that's being paid for by the state and by the Florida lottery system. I think it's up to 1.7 billion now. If no one wins and they have to cap it, then it can go into the scholarships. I mean, I'm hoping I'll win it, but you never know. And then, of course, if any students are applying to schools or universities and they have questions, we have connections all over the state as well as to all of our partnership schools where they can have a one-on-one Zoom with someone to be able to talk about the school, about the university. And if it's not a person from their staff, it's typically a student who may have gone there or is currently there so that the student can really know what they're expecting to have. Oops, sorry.
Daniel, excuse me, just a question on the Bright Futures eligibility. Can you tell us if our student is eligible or is close to being eligible? So for example, if they needed to take, the SAT again to try and increase it just a little bit.
What I can do is I can send individual emails about that because I wouldn't want to put the students' test scores and GPAs out there. So I'll send individual emails about whether or not your student qualifies for Bright Futures.
Yeah, it would be great if you sent us like their GPA, their SAT scores, that kind of thing. So then we could kind of see as we go through the discussion with them in the school requirements.
Yeah, I can do that, no problem.
Daniel, I have a follow-on to Nancy's question. So is it really about their academic record or is it also academic plus their ACT, SAT scores?
For Bright Futures, it is their GPA, SAT, and ACT score, and their volunteer and or work hours.
Okay.
Yeah, all of our students work with our program, so they automatically already have met the hours requirement because for Bright Futures, it's 100 hours. Our students work at least 280 a year, so that's not a problem at all.
Okay. Thank you.
If you want to find, if you're having trouble connecting with your student or finding a time that works for both of you to meet in person, we do have some DCF testing happening on these dates at our campus. So we will have a staff member in the building. So if you want to just come out to Immokalee and meet your student in person, you're available to meet them any of these dates from 9 to 1. Just send me an email or a text, and that way our staff that's here can be on the lookout for you to let you into the building and set you up in the mentor lounge. Not a requirement, but it is available to other mentors on any of these dates. We have 2 mentor lounges, our conference room, and any of our offices, and you guys are more than welcome to come out and use them. Mentor tutor events for the year. So I did send out the newsletter a few weeks ago. If you didn't get it, send me an email or a text and that I can resend it to you. I always send a copy to myself. So that way, in case anyone needs it, I can send it out to them as well. If you didn't get it, check your junk or spam folder because if it's being sent there, you're also not getting any of our other emails, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on anything. Our mentor dinner is set for November 6th here at the Van Otterloo Family Campus, same as last year. If you're unavailable that day or you already know you can't make that work, send me an email. I can send you all the other dates for the other dinners if one of those works better for you. I have been in contact with Bill Dempsey from Marco Island. Hideaway Beach has been reserved for us February 21st. So we'll be able to have a picnic out there again this year, play some games, kayak, and have a barbecue. Our culture event right now is planned for March 28th. It's supposed to be at Artist Naples, A Beautiful Noise, the story of Neil Diamond. I have not gotten confirmation yet about ticket availability and prices, so I am waiting for that. As soon as that is in, I can send all the details to the mentors because I don't want to tell other mentors, hey, we need you to pay for these tickets, but then I don't even know what the price is or if it's within our budget for the students who, need that. Our senior celebration, that has actually been changed as of last week. Bob or Jim, do you have the date in front of you by any chance? I believe it's April 25th.
Sorry,
guys,
Dan.
that got
Sorry,
changed.
Daniel. I believe it's April 23rd. I thought it was a Thursday night this year.
Yes, you're right. Sorry about that. April
No worries.
23rd is the new senior celebration date, so I do gotta update that in the slide, but that is where we'll be at, I believe it's at Vineyards Country Club, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we'll invite all the mentors to join us there. We will have a bus for the students and the parents to get out there. We'll announce where the students are going to school, how they did it as a class, and we do have a few additional scholarships that the Guadalupe Center awards. So we will announce that night as well. It is by far my favorite night of the entire year, where we really just celebrate the students. The parents are super proud of them. The mentors are super proud of them. And it's really just a wonderful night. If you're interested in any of our other events that are going on, we do have a few lined up for the year. October 23rd is our Seeing the Bigger Picture event. Art of Appreciation on November 13th. If you've done our holiday gift shop before, we're doing it on 3 separate days. There will be an email actually coming. I believe it's coming from you, Wendy, if I'm correct.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I've had speaker issues, so sorry. I believe it will be coming from our office. It's probably more likely Emily, but yes.
Okay. Yeah, and if you'd like to participate again, it's a lot of fun to give some parents some toys to give to their little ones. Our annual gala, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys. I made this at the middle of summer and some dates have changed and I forgot to double check that. That is on me. Oh, did I get it right? Yes, sorry. No, the gala is correct, January 16th. And then our buddy day, if you've been to it before, we take our 2nd graders out to Marco Island, Hideaway Beach to really enjoy the day and to participate in some activities with some community partners. and that will be on February 26th. If you have any questions on any of those, you can send them to me or you can send them to Wendy, and we're happy to answer anything you might have on that. And in case you didn't see any photos of your student from spring break, here they are at the University of Florida in Gainesville. I wanted to try to have more pictures for each class of them at different events throughout the years. They really enjoyed Gainesville and, just touring the campus and the facilities. And unfortunately, we didn't get to get into the stadium because they were renovating something, but they had a blast. And I think that's when they all really started thinking, college is coming soon. And then they got a little nervous, but then they forgot about that after lunch. So, yeah. Any questions that I can answer that anyone may have for myself or for your fellow mentors?
I have a question, Daniel. It's Francisco. What time is the dinner, the mentor dinner?
We usually have it at 6. There will be an email coming out about a month before it with all the final details.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and then I just realized I didn't have my outline that I thought I did for Chuck, but over the next month and over the next 2 months, they'll be completing the senior essay. So right now they're completing their outline and their first paragraph. So that should be done before the middle of next week. And then after that, they'll focus on their middle paragraphs and their conclusion for about 2 weeks. And then the 2 weeks after that, they'll be completing it, finishing final edits and grammar checks. And while they're doing that, the resumes and the FAFSA and Common App, because those are more just simple input of information, those will happen throughout that period.
But the deadline to have the essay done is when?
We want all college applications in by November 1st. So we want them to be done before October 20th so that they're not worried the night before about their essay or their resume or even recommendations. We've told them since the beginning of the school year to start letting their teachers know or coaches or whoever it is that they might be asking for a recommendation to be on the lookout for those emails and notices and letters so that they can get them submitted right away.
Thank you.
Daniel, just a quick question. Did I just miss it? I'm not sure. Are they required to have letters of recommendation from faculty to go into the application?
It depends on the school. So each school has different requirements. Some don't require any letters of recommendation, some do. And there are also certain schools that require one recommendation from a teacher and one recommendation from a counselor. I've also seen some schools have one recommendation from a community member or organization, that's us as the Guadalupe Center, or possibly even you as a mentor. There have been some students who have asked their mentors for letters of recommendation before. So do be aware of that as well.
Thank you.
Daniel, this is Jan. I've got a question to follow up on one of the comments that you made earlier, not specifically about the application process, but rather when the kids are in college somewhere. And you talked about the change that they will experience in going from a situation where they are the majority to one where they are the minority. And I'm wondering if either Immokalee, Guadalupe, or the various universities, at least in this state, have any beneficial program for them to assist them in the follow-up in whatever difficulty they may have in those regards.
Yeah, so we actually do a combined approach. Our college team requires monthly check-ins from our college students with them, with Jorge and Abby via Zoom if they're far away from Immokalee, if they're commuting in person. And then for each of these schools that a student is applying to, if they have a first generation or minority program available to students, we have our students apply to those as well. Each school has a different one under a different name. For example, FGCU's is called TRIO, UF it's called the Mackin Scholars and Promise, FSU is called CARES, the UTF is called, I believe it's called Knights First. Each school has a different program but it's a very similar programs. They all just have a different name. So as soon as we know a student is interested in that school, we'll tell them about that program specifically to make sure they get that application done. If they do commit to it in college, you know, that's their choice, but at least they have that option available to them.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, any other questions? Any questions about the Sign Up Genius, the one that I sent out? Anyone have questions about that? All right, cool. Some of your seniors are in dual enrollment / early admissions where they're taking college classes instead of high school classes. And some of them are available actually during the mornings, during the days. So if you want to Zoom or FaceTime them during those time periods, please feel welcome to do so. Others, you know, they're at Immokalee High and they don't get out till 2:05. Each senior has a unique course schedule. So, you know, we tackle each one individually. There are some already on the Zoom call, so I'm gonna initiate the breakout room so that those who are already on can meet with their mentor. But for the rest, I am not expecting them until 2:15. So if you give them just a few minutes, you take some time to go get some water or go to the restroom. I appreciate you all joining the call, and I can't wait for the next one.
Daniel, have you been able to reach the kids that you were texting before to find out if they're available today?
Yes. Marisol Jasso is coming on. Mariela Ortiz is unavailable to today. So Tim and Liz, she said she's going to text you about scheduling a different time. And
Okay.
then Jasmine Reyes said she can join. And I
She
think that's
said she
everyone.
didn't receive the email with the Zoom link. She just texted me, so I'll set something up with her. We'll call by cell phone.
Okay. Okay. Did I?